Record that. All right, guys. So well done for coming for tonight. Look, the basis is because I know a lot of people want to learn how to present, and so that's what I'm going to go through with you guys. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to go through the PBR slides or the PBZ slides, and basically just explain why we say certain things, how we say certain things, and what kind of things we should be looking out for. So definitely grab a notepad and pen because you're going to want to take some of these notes down. But look, fundamentally, when doing a PBR or a PBZ, I've got to get used to calling it PBZ. When doing a PBZ, it's all about practice, and it's all about just doing them and doing them and doing them. And honestly, I can quite confidently say that I've probably done over hundreds of PBZs or PBRs, and I only got good at them by just because I've done so many of them. And that's the trick. That is probably the secret to learning how to present. And the thing is, you'll find is once you're able to present the business, you're actually going to be really confident in talking to people about the business because you'll be able to explain it in a great bit of detail for people. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my slides with you guys. Firstly, how we find the actual slides. So we all got sent the link earlier today. I'm just gonna share my screen. So when you go on Dropbox, you'll see loads of different files that will look like this. Okay, it's gonna be one of these two, either presentation.key or presentation.powerpoint. So if you're running your PBZ on a Mac or an Apple product, so like I am here, then Keynote will be fine. You can use Keynote. You might already have PowerPoint. It's completely up to you. But if you're not using an Apple device, then make sure you download the one that says .pptx. All right, that will open it up as a PowerPoint. So that's just something to make sure, because I know that that's caught a lot of people off in the past. So here we go. So when I get started in a presentation, if I'm doing a group presentation, I would typically have a welcome screen. Okay, so if there's quite a few people, I'll make sure I have a welcome screen, and I've got a few versions of it. I think I had another one. Where is it actually? Oh, there it is. Yeah. And the reason why I have a welcome screen is because the last thing we want, so this is what people would see. I've got a new one actually with our logo. But the last thing people would want to see when you jump on a call, when there's loads of people, loads of random faces, loads of noise, and we've got to keep it professional. We've got to keep it looking good. So why is it stopped? There we go. So one thing that I do is I have a welcome screen. And as a host, and I'm not going to go into how to use Zoom, but I make sure everybody is muted, and I make sure they cannot unmute apart from the person who's going to host and do the testimonials. All right, so it's really, really important to make sure you know who's going to do that, so that way you can unmute them or make them a co-host so they can unmute themselves. But I'm going to go into the actual presentation itself. So I'm going to share my screen. And the first thing that happens when you go on the screen is you come to this section. So what typically happens is when your guest joins the presentation, you need to make sure they know who you are. Now, whether it's a warm market or a cold market, it's really, really important to share your story. Why do you want to share your stories? Because people will be able to connect with you. People buy into you. They don't buy into the opportunity. And this is one thing that will really change the game for you if you can really understand this. If people like you and if people can buy into you and your vision, they're more likely to get involved with ACM. Why? Because people want to follow highly motivated, highly ambitious, excited, passionate people. Everybody wants to be around those kinds of people. It's in our human nature. Okay, so it's really important that you share your story, and you share it honestly. You share it with integrity. Make sure it's true. So what I always advise people to do is to write down your reason why you're doing the business, but write it down in a lot of detail. So that way, you know exactly what it is you're talking about. And you know, it's taken me actually a really long time to master sharing my story, because you want to say it with passion. You want to say it from the heart, right? And when you'll notice when you speak from the heart, you'll feel completely different. You know, it feels incredible when you're actually sharing your story in such a way. It really feels powerful, and you will know when you're connecting with someone, when you're speaking with passion, right? It really, you can feel it from yourself. So You want to get good at doing that, and you can flip in and out of that passion mode and back to normal, right? So what I do as soon as I get started, if I have a host and they introduce me, but as soon as I get started, the one thing you don't want to do, all right, and this is something that I've read up on, you don't want to complain about things. You don't want to start throwing problems at people. No, you want to be relatable, all right? So start off with a story. There's a great way to structure a PBR that's called, I need to find it actually, I think it's called Heart, Head, Action, and Heart, all right? I'm going to come on to heart. The first part is sharing your story. So the moment you get started, you speak from the heart. So I say to people, so look, I'm 24 years old. I came across this life-changing opportunity little over 4 years ago. And when I got started, I was really looking for an opportunity. I was your typical student. I really wanted to make an additional income. I was working 3 jobs. And I was really struggling. I was getting letters under my door, and I was being told what I can and can't do. But I really go into my story into a lot of detail. And when you hear me share my story properly, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. So make sure people remember you. People will remember you the way they are introduced to you. So if you start your PBR strong, they will remember that. I'll be honest with you, people don't remember the actual presentation itself. They don't focus that much on it. They focus more on you. All right. So this is probably the most important bit. Is stage 1 is heart. Speak with the heart. Speak with the passion. There's something called a signature talk, which I really highly recommend you look into and learn how to perfect. All right. So share a story. Be relatable. I tell people that I was struggling financially. I was also struggling for time. So what I've done is I identified my problem and I've shared that with people. Now make sure your problem is something people can resonate with and people can relate to. Okay, so when you do that and they're like, yeah, when you see heads nodding like this, you're doing a good job. So I share my story. I see the heads nodding as people understand what struggles I went through. And I say to them, so look, I was so blessed and I got so excited because I found an opportunity where I can actually be my own boss. But most importantly, it was a solution to all of those problems that I mentioned. All right, so I showed them the problem and I showed them how I found the solution. And this is kind of like what I was talking about this morning in Adidas Coffee Morning. So something that I really recommend, please make sure you plug into them. So I'm going to jump straight into the presentation. The first thing we do, and you'll notice this is the second slide, it's the company video. Why do we start with the company video? Because it adds credibility. It's a professional video. It gives a brief overview what it is we do as a business, but most importantly, it adds credibility. Okay, it basically does half of the presentation for you. It tells your prospect who ACN is, what ACN does, how people can acquire income in ACN, and who ACN is, as in the successes that it's had over the years. All right, so this builds the belief and the credibility. Now, what you can typically do, by the way, just a top tip, if you want to invite someone to a presentation, you can send them this video. It's completely up to you. All right, always remember as well, guys, when you're presenting so you can show them information. Don't present with the intention just to sign somebody up. If you're approaching people and if you're talking to people just so you can sign them up and make money out of it, I'm telling you now, that isn't the right way a network marketer should be thinking. A network marketer should be thinking, I'm going to go connect with people, build relationships, make good friends, build a business, and have fun with it. So what you want to do when you're promoting your business, you want to make sure you're telling people, hey, I want to share with you some information that I'm actually a part of, and I feel like it can really add value into your life. All right. So you want to make sure people understand that, because nobody wants to be sold. Nobody wants to be sold anything. So we don't want to sell them the opportunity. We want to show them the opportunity, and it's up to them if they catch the vision in the opportunity. So all our goal is, it's to educate. educate people on our industry and educate people on our company. That's really, really important. So that's how we start, and that's why we show the video, because we're just showing information. Now, the first actual slide is, this is ACN. That we want to get straight into this point because we want to show people that we are a credible company. You see, one thing that I always looked at, and I've been approached so many times, even before ACN, I've seen many, many different presentations from many, many different companies, right? And I always, always, always think this is one of the most important sections of a presentation. I want to see the company's credibility. This works really well for people who are classed as urchins, people who want to analyze everything. What we want to show people here is ACN is an established company. It has generated billions upon billions of euros in revenue over 27 years. So we're telling people this isn't just a startup company. We're telling people this has credibility. They can trust ACN because it's been around for a really, really long time. So all you want to do really is just read off the slides. But when you're reading off the slides, I'll give you guys an example. If you just say an established 27-year-old track record, world's largest distributor, no one's going to listen to that. When you're speaking, you want to speak with excitement. Now, personally, I don't read off the slides. But when you get started, by all means, read off the slides. But if you're going to read off the slides, read with excitement. So if I was to read off the slides, this is how I would speak. An established company with over 27 years track record, okay? We have generated millions upon millions of customers in over 27 countries. Look, I'm literally just saying things that are on the slides, all right? But I'm saying it with passion because when you say things with passion, it links into what I said at the beginning, that people resonate with, that people listen to passion, people want to follow people with passion and with knowledge. It makes you more credible as an expert as well. So it's really important that to get this bit right, that you are able to explain who ACN is to make it a credible sounding company. Now, next, we explain what an essential service is. You tell them an essential service is something that we can't live without. In fact, if it wasn't for essential services, we wouldn't be able to even watch this presentation. So we have, energy partnerships. We have a fantastic partnership with Blue Green Energy, multi-play with none other than Virgin Media, a household name. So just go through the services. You don't need to go into detail, right? When I talk about these services, I just say EE Mobile, household name. You don't even need to introduce it. Joy Mobile is our very own company where we're able to provide SIM-only deals for our customers. Home security, we're very short. It's the largest security system in Europe today. And in merchant services. And merchant services are allowing us to be paid every time a customer makes a transaction through a PDQ machine. All right, so you don't need to, I've never seen the merchant service because it hasn't even been released yet, but I'm able just to say that, and it sounds like I know exactly what I'm talking about, right? And that's just to show credibility. You don't need to go into detail. You don't need to be an expert on the services. You just need to be able to explain a bit basic information what the services are, because people don't need detail. People want information, right? And there's a difference. So you're just giving them information that we provide essential services to our customers, and that we're in 18 different European countries alone. All right, so you're just showing them the scalability of things. This allows people to think big. This allows people to think that I can get a Securitas customer in Spain, or I can get customers all over Europe. I can get Vodafone, for example. All right. Now we explain the business model. We explain how traditional forms of advertisement are expensive. When you go on TV and an advert comes up, that costs thousands and thousands of pounds a second. When you get leaflets through your door, we put the leaflet straight in the bin. See, these forms of advertising are not effective. What ACN does is ACN comes to you, or to us, the independent business owner. Why do I say you and us like that? I say that so I'm implanting into their minds that they are an independent business owner. See, this is another little psychological trick that you'll be able to learn, right? But when I say ACN comes to people like us and to you, the independent business owners, so you're already planting a seed in their mind that they're able to be a business owner through this incredible company that you just showed them, right? So that's what I say you and us. There's a really cool trick that I learned from one of the world's leading network marketers. His name is Pat Quinn, and he calls it the Scooby-Doo method, right? And it's so effective. You literally, you look to the right and you look to the left, and then you lean forward and say something. And what that does, that creates so much effect. So you can say, you and us, we can be business owners, right? And what that does, it attracts people in. It really resonates with people. And it's so true. It's a little tip that I learned recently, and I really like using it. It's really effective. It's called the Scooby-Doo. You got to make sure you use it naturally. It comes with a bit of practice, but say, look, we all can be business owners, right? And people are like, oh, okay. So when you want to emphasize on something, that's a little trick that you can use over Zoom. Now, the next is we explain how to become a business owner. Now, what I say to people in this stage is I'm showing them how to get started, but I'm making it so that they see they have an option, but it's a very easy decision to make. I tell them, look, if you were to get involved with ACN, number one, you'll be given your own website. You'll be given all the IBO support, all right? You'll work directly with a mentor, with a leader, someone who'll be able to show you how this business works. Make sure you tell people that they will work with people who have done this business, who've been able to make some money in this business, because that adds their belief that they know that this is something they can do. They're not being shown a Mickey Mouse way of doing it, all right? There are people, when you combine number of years that they've been working in this business, it's countless, and they'll be able to take benefit from things like that. Full business tracking and complete customer support, right? Complete customer support, so that way you don't have to be professional with your customers. The services and the companies will be professionals for your customers, and they will be able to deal with the customer. Now, this is the bit that everybody finds the hardest at first, all right, is they talk about the license fee. Everybody always starts, when I started presenting, I used to say, look, this is the part where people freak out, but I don't want you to freak out. Don't freak out, all right? I just want to explain this to you, and then we'll move on. That's what I used to say, and it was terrible, terrible idea. Listen, £479, yeah, we know, it's quite a bit of money, but we need to change our mindset with that. We don't want to look at this as a cost. We want to see it as a value, right? £479, guys, you can start a global business online. That's it. £479. Business websites cost thousands, right? And here's what's really great. You get to have a 7-day completely free trial. Think about this for a second. 7 days completely free in the business, with all the support, with all the systems, with all the mentors, with everything you need to succeed, will be given to you for 7 days completely for free. Why is this really important? It's because, and I always say this, I don't expect you to make a decision today. And then I pause, all right? Say that. I don't expect you to make a decision today. Why do I say this? Because it relaxes people a little bit. Because then they forget about the £479. They know they don't need to decide today. But here is where I embed a call of action. You don't need to you don't need to commit to anything today. All you can do is enroll completely for free. Now, we know that if someone enrolls, that's a result for us, right? That's a great start to a potential new business partner. Now, that individual knows there's no commitment, which is completely true. There's no commitment to starting the business today, but they can enroll completely for free. So now they're going to be more relaxed. They don't have to worry about this £479. This is where you see people lean back a little bit. They don't have to worry about the £479, and they know they can get enrolled. Never say sign up, never say close. Enrolled as an IBO completely for free. Now they're relaxed. Now's where you make them excited. Right? Firstly, you tell them this business can be done from the comfort of your mobile phone. And I always get my phone and I show it that you can do this from the comfort of your mobile phone. Why? It's a prop. It adds a distraction. It sees something different, right? So you can do this from your computer or from your mobile phone. So you're showing them that it can be done as simple as that. Now you start getting people excited. You talk about the bonuses. Talk about how the bonuses work. Now, I'm not going to go into detail, but you can say, look, as soon as you get started, you can make £75 as when you get 3 services, blah, 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 blah. I'll let you go through the bonuses, okay? That's training for another time. Now we talk personal residual income. So what I say to people is, hey, look, say you get in this business, you've made a few bonuses, but you've asked yourself, right? And always engage people. Yeah, make them think. So ask them questions that has a one-way answer. You ask them, wouldn't you want to find a way that you can make a recurring income? Because what if there was a month that you couldn't acquire customers, but you still wanted an income coming in? Well, that's where we get residual income, right? And we get paid 1 to 10% on every customer we acquire. And I say to people, you're literally going to give yourself a monthly pay rise for every single customer you acquire. So think about that for a second. The more customers you have, the higher your residual paycheck, right? So people are now thinking, wow, that's a really cool system. So all I need to do is just acquire customer, and you're giving yourself a monthly pay rise. Absolutely. Now we talk about overriding residual income. Now, the way I describe this is a bit different. I don't say you build a team or anything like that. I say, look, you build a distribution, you build a franchise, okay? And we franchise through other online shops, all right? And we need other business partners to run those online shops, all right? Because what will happen is when you say we sign up people or we build a team, the first thing that comes to people's minds is, oh, it's a pyramid scheme, right? We get that all the time, right? So it's, hey, look, what you can now do is if you want to expand your business, right? And this is what I like to focus on, is I'm able to help people acquire bonuses, acquire residual income, and I help them by building a distribution of other business partners and other distributors just like ourselves. All right, so help people do exactly what you did, and now you could acquire up to 8% on every customer that those individuals acquire. Never use the word people, by the way. I don't like using the word, oh, the amount of people you bring or your people. I don't like that word. It's a bit of a strong word. So I like individuals or business partners or distributors is a good word as well. Now we talk about the positions. All right, so I say to them, look, the moment you get signed, the moment you start in ACN, you are known as an independent business owner. Now, this is the perfect opportunity for you to already stress how important it is to get qualified. I say to people, IBOs in ACN do not get paid, right? And I stop for a little bit. IBOs don't get paid. Why do I say that? I let that sink in for a minute. And they're like, whoa, they don't get paid? Like, what's the point? If you want to get paid in this business, you need to be a customer qualified IBO. That's your first real position. You need to be a CQ. And look, it's very simple to become a CQ. All you need is 3 services. Now you're a CQ, and here's what's amazing about this position is the moment you become a CQ, ACM pay you £75 just as a bonus, right? So I say that to people, so they're like, okay, number one, that's all I need is 3 services. And wow, I can already make £75. So I say to people, look, people can do this within their first 24 to 48 hours. So they know already the most important thing they need to do is get qualified, and they've got to do it with urgency. All right. So you're already embedding these little tricks in their mind. Okay. Now we move on to the position of an executive team leader. We explain, I don't bother going into detail how we get to ETL. All right. That's information for the launch. Remember, you want to keep it basic. So I say, look, the next position is an executive team leader where you can now acquire £60 as a bonus every time someone in your business gets qualified. So what I like to say here now to help for people so they like this is, look, if you help somebody get paid £75, you get paid £60. It's a win-win situation. So now people are thinking, wow, for the whales, people are thinking, well, I can help somebody and I get paid for it. Fantastic. Who doesn't want to do that? That is a winning system. Okay, next position, regional director, blah, 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 blah. And look, if you have people that you want to do testimonials, fantastic. If you want me to come and do an ETL testimonial in your presentation, more than happy to. You know, if you want to do a presentation, you say, Stav, can you come and do an ETL testimonial? Absolutely, I'll do an ETL testimonial. I ask Faz and Sam all the time, guys, can you come and do an RD testimonial for me? Absolutely. All right. So get testimonials. Testimonials inspire people. All right. They bring vision and they provide evidence and proof for people. Now, this is a really important system, really important page. Remember I said heart, head, content, heart, right? So we've gone through the heart, we've gone through the content and the head. Now, this is what we call the call to action. This is where you make the decision for somebody, because here's what's going on in their minds. I like this. I'll think about it, or I'll look into this maybe. This sounds all right. Yeah, I might consider doing this. Now, here's what's that's always in people's minds. So you now, as a presenter, need to help somebody make their mind up. Otherwise, they're always going to be thinking about it. Why are they always going to be thinking about it? Because it's just how we're conditioned to believe. We're always trying to make our minds up with something, right? I'm sure we've all been there where we've seen a pair of shoes that we really like, but we haven't bought it yet. We're making our minds up. We're looking at them. We're like, I like that. I like that. And then maybe someone comes along and says, yeah, they'll suit you actually. And you're like, I'll get it, right? So this is that same principle. This is the point where you go up to someone, you make the decision for them. And you say to them, hey, listen, you're going to have questions. You're going to want to know how the system works. And you're going to want to see how this business works for people. So here's what I would do. I would, number one, get enrolled as an IBO. As I mentioned, there's no commitment to getting enrolled. It will give you all the resources you need to get started in a business completely for free. Utilize the support system, participate in our Zoom trainings and webinars, and then start acquiring customers, okay? Because you can do this business. You can actually make your bonuses before you've even gotten started in this business, right? So just show them that, look, all you need to do is get started, get enrolled, and we'll be able to show you and answer every single question you need. This is why it's good to give people multiple exposures to the business, because when it comes to helping them make the decision, it's a lot easier, a lot easier. If you're seeing this for the first time, you're still gonna have your hesitations, but it's a lot easier. But if you've given them multiple exposures, you've spoken to them, you've maybe shown them a video or a testimonial or anything, now they're a lot more inclined because they feel a little bit more comfortable with ACN because they've seen it a little bit. So look, I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to go into the next segment because that's more training where you explain how to do the business. You explain the fast start bonuses. All right. That's just explaining how to present. Now, as I said, a lot of it will make sense. A lot of it probably won't make sense, but it's completely fine. You want to make sure though that you practice this. Always be practicing this. Now, when you start presenting, it's not going to be fluid. All right. When you see me present, a lot of people say, oh, you explain things so well. You're so fluid in how you do things. I'm like that because I've done it so many times. All right. And you guys will be the same. When you do something, so like, I don't know if any of you guys here drive. Yeah. The first time you get in a car, you're a little bit slow. You're doing the 10 to 2 and you're driving. And as you get a little bit more experienced, or you've been like, I've been driving for 4 years now. I'm one of those like one hand, arm on the window kind of guy, strolling around. I would never have done that 4 years ago when I just got started, right? But right now, because I've done this so many times, that's how I can be fluid. And what I'm already doing when I'm presenting is I'm looking at my guests. I'm looking at how they look, how they're reacting. I'm already thinking ahead to what I can say to maybe pique some more interest if people don't seem interested, all right? So it's very, very important that you practice, and get myself on your calls, guys, all right? I'm more than happy if I'm available to jump on a call, to watch. I'm happy to take some notes and give you some feedback afterwards, whatever you need. And I'm happy to even do a short testimonial. And look, doing a testimonial is a good way to present, is a good way to practice because you're talking in front of people and you're sharing your story, which is the most important thing. Now, look, when you finish the presentation, don't just stop. All right. When I'm on the last slide, what I do is I stop sharing my screen and I come back to me. Why do I do that? It's so I can get personal with people again, so people can see me. And then remember I said heart, whatever, and then heart at the end. Share your story again, or explain to people how you had that problem, and with the information you've just shown them, you've been able to solve that problem, or you're solving that problem. Remember, guys, you don't need to be an SVP or be madly successful to be able to encourage someone to do ACN. You just need to show a vision, right? I am no one special in ACN. I haven't made tens of thousands of pounds on a monthly basis, but I'm able to share my vision with people and say to them, listen, I might not be there yet, but I'm definitely working towards it, and I'm going to go to the top. And I want to take people with me, and it's up to you now if you want to be on that journey, yes or no, are you in or you out, but I'm going to the top. I'm going to take everyone in my team with me to the top, right? And this is an opportunity for you to not only be a part of that team, but to be a part of that journey where we can all become successful together as a team and as a family, you know, and you share that story. If you're just getting started in a business and you don't have a story yet, that's okay. You can share a story of someone else. The other day in a PBR, I used a story. I don't know if you guys know Daniel. I used Daniel's story. I said, look, I met this individual when he got enrolled in the business. He was an Uber driver. And now today he's able to have retired from Uber, and he does AC and he makes his residual income, but he also now does property, and he's able to be financially and time free because he's building his property business whilst building ACN on the side. He doesn't have to do Uber anymore. Share stories, share Faz's story. When Faz got involved with this business, he was full-time into property and he wanted to leverage his time and business more. So he got involved with ACN. He's now a top producing regional director. So share stories. If you know stories of people in the team, share them. Everyone's had an experience. For people who have been in this business for some time, we've all got a story. You can share my story. Share a story that might relate to somebody. If you're presenting to a young individual, maybe a student, share them. Stavros, he wanted to be a pilot. He was at university. He was struggling financially. He was, trying to juggle 3 jobs plus his studies. And when ACN came his way, he was able to sacrifice a few of his jobs and he was able to take more time studying. And share that story with people because they resonate with that. All right. So that's pretty much it. Practice, practice, practice. That's all I can recommend is practice, 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 and practice. Once you've done these presentations hundreds of times, and trust me, it's hundreds of times sounds like a lot, but it really does go by really quickly, right? If you're presenting once or twice a day, right, you could already present like 10 times a week easily. Okay. So practice, practice, practice. And that's all I recommend. And that's the only way to really get good. Obviously, watch the other PBZs and take notes from them, but always find your own style. When I never had anybody train me on how to do a PBR or a PBZ, I literally just picked it up by watching loads of different people, and I took the things I like the most and I put it into my own style, and that's how I present. When I present, I like thinking a little bit about the psychology of presenting. I like trying to put myself in my prospect's mind. I want to say what I would want to hear. That's really important. Always say what you would want to hear, because the odds are that's what your prospect would want to hear. So go at it with a mentality that as you're saying the information, you're saying it for the first time, you're seeing it for the first time. And are you saying it in a way that would excite the individual? If the answer is no, then you need more passion. Ramp up the passion, ramp up the excitement. When you see me present, I'm literally bouncing on my seat. I'm doing the Scooby-Doo methods. I'm doing loads of other little tricks. So there's so many you can learn. All right. But it all comes down to practicing. So guys, I'm going to stop the recording there. I'm going to share this on the group chat later on, because I know there were some people who wanted to join but couldn't. And I'm going to open up to questions. So I'm just going to